Pontiac Fiero. You got it, Pontiac.
Hi, thanks for checking out my video on doing the C4 rotor upgrade on your 88 Fiero. Now this rotor upgrade is only for the 88 Fiero, as the braking system of the 88 Fiero is different than that of the 84 to 87 Fiero. Now with this rotor upgrade you do get improved stopping power, and it also is more visually appealing to see the bigger rotors. If you would like to order your install kit for this rotor upgrade, check the link down below for the Pontiac Fiero forum. There's a few things that I want to clarify before you start your own C4 rotor conversion that you might need to take into consideration when doing this project. The first one is that the stock Fiero rims will not fit with this conversion. Due to the bigger rotor and having to pull the caliper out farther to accommodate, the stock Fiero rims will not fit back in place. You're actually going to bang against the caliper. You can remedy this by shaving off the top corner of the caliper to get the rim to fit, if you're comfortable doing that. I, however, am not comfortable doing that, so I'm going to go the route of the bigger rim. The second thing that you need to remember is when you purchase your C4 rotors that you need 4 front rotors. We're not using rear rotors at all in this conversion. Now when you use slotted vented rotors, remember they are directional and you need to install them on the correct wheel based on the direction of the slot. The third tip that I'd like to suggest is if you're going to improve your braking by doing this rotor upgrade, you might as well take the next step and change out your brake lines with steel braided brake lines if you haven't already. The braided brake lines will not swell as much as the rubber brake lines, which will also improve your stopping power and longevity of the braking system. Since you're already pulling everything apart, I do have another video on how to change your brake pads, rotors, and brake lines, and another video that you can check out or hit the link below, and that will go through the steps of changing the brake pads, rotors, and brake lines on your 88 Fiero. So let's go ahead and start going through the steps of what it would take, and hopefully this is an upgrade you'll consider and enjoy. In my previous videos you're used to seeing my blue 87 GT. In this video I decided to change it up a little bit. We're going to do something with the 88 Mera, and what I'm deciding to do for this project is C4 brake upgrade. Here's a shot of my rims. These are 17-inch rims, obviously not stock. We've got the Fiero rotors, as you can see. I think they're about 8 inches. And by comparison, here is the C4 rotor that we're going to install. With an open wheel like this, I think it'll look really good. And at some point in the future I may even just go ahead and upgrade from a stock, obviously used C4 rotor to a new vented slotted rotor, but for now I'm going to go with what I've got and go from there. Alright, and here's the kit that you get for the 12-inch rotor upgrade. You got the brackets, the wheel spacers, and for a slight additional fee you get the bolts, which need to be a 10.9 hardness or better. These brackets have some markings on them. We get DF/PR, which I'm assuming is driver's side front / passenger rear. We get PF/DR, which is passenger front or driver's side rear. So the brackets, you'll get 2 that are alike. That can go either driver's side front or passenger rear, or passenger front, driver's side rear. Ring adapters. bolts. Alright, I just pulled the tire off the passenger side rear wheel, and now we're going to remove the caliper so we can get the rotor off in order to swap out the rotors. Now it's time to pop the caliper off. Just give it a good wiggle. May have to tap it with a hammer, but it should come out. Rest this. Now that you got the rotor off, the next step is to remove your brake dust guard. With the 12-inch rotors, it does require the removal of this, as the rotors sit so far in. This would obstruct the rotor and cause problems. So we're going to use a 10mm wrench and take that. There are 3 10mm bolts, pretty much at each corner. Alright, so when it comes to actually measuring and drilling the holes for your C4 rotor, you're going to use your Fiero's rotor as a template. Now, you have your Fiero rotor, you've got your C4 rotor. And typically what you want to do is you want to slip the hat inside the hat of the rotors and drill them in that way. But there is a little bit of play, so how do you know when you've got them centered up just right? And that's what I want to kind of figure out right now. So what I did is I did a little bit of math. I won't go into the details of what I did, and I probably did too much, but basically what I did is we have the Fiero rotor at 10 1/4 inch rotor. Then we have the C4 rotor at 12 inches. So basically what I did is some elementary school math where I took the fractions, converted them to decimals, then I subtracted them, then I divided them in half because we need, if this was the C4 rotor, this is 12 inches. So basically the Fiero rotor has to sit in, so I need half of it to go measurement here, half of it here. So whatever number I came up with when I subtracted 12 from 10 1/4, I divided that in half because the Fiero rotor has to sit halfway in between that. So, in doing all that, without doing it now, and then converting it back to a fraction after I did the math, I came up with I'll do it a little bit bigger. 13/16 inches. That's kind of what I came up with. So each of these measurements is 13/16. 13/16. So once you do that, you measure that in here. And what I did is I took a Sharpie after I measured it. I just kind of mark the 4 corners just so I knew in case the rotor slid around I could put it back, and then use something like this and clamp it down on 4 different sides. So, and that's where I got the measurements from. In my case, I use a drill press. I would recommend a drill press if you have one. If you don't, you can use a hand drill. Just make sure that you're at 90 degrees as best as you can. Make sure that those holes go right through. Now, if the holes end up being too small or just slightly off, you're still okay. You can just bore them out bigger with a bigger drill bit. And when the rotor sits in there and is cinched down with the lug nuts, it'll hold it in place. And the centering rings will make sure that it's centered. So there's really no chance of getting this off because the centering ring and the lugs will hold it where it needs to be. As for drill bits, I think I used a 9/8 inch or 3/16. I'm kind of drawing a blank here, so I'll have to verify that. Maybe I'll put that in the text below on what it was, but yeah, you'll have to, it's not a typical drill bit. You'll probably have to go out and buy a drill bit specifically large enough for your lug bolts to fit through. So, and drill bits you can get at Home Depot, Lowe's, hardware store, probably like, 8, 9, 10, 12 bucks, something like that. Okay, here's the bracket for the passenger side rear caliper. We can tell this because it's stamped DF for driver side front / PR for passenger rear. We will be using this as the passenger rear. The way it goes on is the bulge side faces you. These two holes here will go where the caliper bolts go, and that will be held on by these two 3/4 inch or 19 millimeter bolts coming in through the back, and then the caliper will go through these two threaded holes here. If you're going to do a project like this, you might as well do it right. So I always recommend a tube of anti-seize. So we're going to anti-seize our bolts. Dab that up a little bit. I'm going to take a 3/4 inch socket and we're going to cinch that down. Alright, just for visual comparison, this is the Fiero rotor. These are 10 3/4, I believe. And this is the C4 12 inch rotor. So side by side, definitely noticeable. Not substantial, but definitely noticeable. Before putting the rotor on, we want to put the rings that came with the kit on. These are the spacers that will make up the difference between the Fiero rotors and the Corvettes. So we can go ahead and put this on. Fits nice. Slide our caliper over. Just like that. going to put some anti-seize on our caliper bolts because I know I'm going to be taking them off at some point in the future because I plan on owning this car that long. Here we have it. Looks good, fits good, moves well, center ring, everything looks great. All we gotta do is throw the wheel on and I think we're about done. For anyone wanting to leave comments regarding the broken stud, yes, I have a replacement stud. I plan on fixing it. I just don't have time to do it right now. I'm kind of behind schedule on another project, so I will install this when I get a chance in the near future. And just for reference, this is the driver's side rear. But now we'll move on to the front. We're going to go ahead and install the rotor. We'll go ahead and slide our caliper on. So as you can see in this video, the upgrade is not that difficult. The biggest hurdle you have to do is drilling out the rotors, which, as you saw in my instructions previously, it's not that hard, and I've already done the hard work on telling you where you need to measure and drill. So all you gotta do is take that information, drill your rotors, order your kit, link below, and within a couple of hours worth of work you can have quite a noticeable advantage on your stopping ability compared to the stock Fiero rotors. So if you like this video, again, please click the link below, order your kit, subscribe to my channel, and look for more awesome, useful Fiero related videos. Thanks for watching.